Welcome to Right Riches Talks. I'm Lale Hancock, and I'm here with Steve Bowman and Shatissa Bowman. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Today's topic, we're going to talk about being the choosing one versus the chosen one. So this is another one of my favorite topics that I have to just send kudos to the Bowmans for opening my eyes to it a few years ago. So how many of us are willing to be the choosing ones, I wonder, after today's show?
This whole topic around choosing one and chosen one is probably one of the most powerful tools that we've found that has both created enormous growth in our businesses, but also enabled us to function in this world in a very different way that gets people thinking, how are you able to do those things? The energy of this is probably one of the most powerful parts. If you tap into the energy of being the chosen one, then you will always be waiting to be chosen by someone else whose criteria for choosing you have no idea. And being the chosen one means that you will only see value in yourself when someone chooses you. Now, that's a lot of work. The chosen one, when you are being the chosen one, you are always looking for something outside of you to occur. Oh, please, choose me, choose me. So this is where a lot of people, when they get into their advisory work or consulting work, for example, will send out requests for, respond to requests for proposals, and the whole energy that permeates what they're doing is choose me, don't choose the others, choose me, right? And it's that sense of not so much desperation, but the sense of there is no choice, because if they don't choose me, then somehow I'm wrong and I'm not good enough, and that will come through in all of my work. So when you choose to function from being the choosing one, then you actually know that you have choice in everything. You've got choice in how you view things. You've got choice in who you say yes to. You've got choice in who you say no to. But it is your choice. There is no such thing as no choice. You always have choice, even if your choice is to do nothing.
Nowadays, it's so popular with online dating. A lot of time people go on those things from a space of being a chosen one. What would it be like if people go into those space from the space of being a choosing one, not a chosen one? Would that create different possibilities in that space?
One of the great things in the energy of being the choosing one is where you actually know that you have choice in everything. So nothing is fixed. Nothing has to be. It is all, well, what is required here. And the choosing one, and again, it's energetic more than anything else, because once you tap into the energy of being the choosing one, then the words that you use and the interactions you have shape and shift themselves to match the energy of being the choosing one. And it is incredibly attractive to others to know that you are being the choosing one, that nothing that they can say or do will have any effect unless I choose it to. And that is very intriguing for a lot.
And I want to stress a little bit here of when we're saying choosing one, it doesn't mean that you become this egotistical person either. You know what I mean? There's a big difference in what Steve just described, the energy of what you're willing to be for yourself, and to know that you have choices available to you. And most of us, if we look at a point in our lives that there's something we really desire to have, there was nothing that was going to stop us from having it. And we had it. We received it because we were going into it from a very different perspective versus sitting back and saying, I hope one day someone will choose me.
When I'm talking about choosing one, it's about choosing for possibilities. Not choosing because I must have, not choosing, like you said, from a space of egotistical. It's about choosing for possibilities for me and for everyone concerned. Since we've been playing with being benevolent, capitalist, benevolent leader, everything that govern my choices always have to do with wishing well for all. So of choices, being a choosing one, for me, is all about choosing for possibilities. choosing for what else is possible here instead of choosing from the menu according to this reality.
Or choosing from judgment, which is where being the chosen one comes from.
It starts with you, like everything else we've been sharing with these Right Riches talks. And it is about adding richness in your life starts with you. You willing to be that conscious leader of your own life and living. And comes with this, it comes with vacations you want to take. It comes with, like, we can apply this choosing one versus chosen one in so many parts of our lives, including the income that we bring into our lives as well, including the diversity of finances that we can have.
So being a choosing one, choosing for possibilities is very much about being a creator source of your own reality, being a conscious leader of your own life, whatever you want to call it. It's just the same thing, the same energy. Choosing to be a choosing one, it's all about that, about the energy, space, and consciousness of having choice, having infinite choice and infinite possibilities. That's an energy of being a choosing one.
So I'm wondering if people are listening to this, like, would they also consider, not from a wrongness or rightness, but just explore a moment in your life of when you were being that chosen one, and one moment where you were the choosing one, and just how different that was even for you and your body, what you were sensing in your own body, how much more relaxed you were versus, that neediness or that energy of like, I have to have it in a different way. Or, I'm wondering if we could just apply that into our lives and be aware of that in your conversations. Be aware of that as you are adding more into your business or into your life. Hey, what would it be like if I was being the choosing one here?
So we invite everyone to just tap into the energy of being the choosing one, tap into the energy of being the chosen one, and recognize when either of those energies come up, because it's simply just a choice. And what we've found is it permeates everything we do now. So for example, when we send out stuff to potential clients, tapping into the energy of being the choosing one created something that we now call an invitation for clients to work with us. Not the client deciding whether they want to choose us.
One suggestion too is that if, as a consultant, and if you have to write the proposal or the invitation, as Steve called it, write it from the space of being an invitation from possibilities, not from the space of, oh, I hope they choose me. I really don't need this job. I hope they choose me. Because when you write from that space, it's oozing out in the email that this person is desperate. So before they even choose to talk to you, they just delete.
As a sidebar to that, now this is a different conversation for a different Right Riches Talks episode, but always ask yourself, am I doing this to create or am I doing this to prove? When you're writing something to someone, am I doing this from creation or am I doing this from proving? Proving what? I don't know. Proving I'm right, proving they're wrong, proving they need me, proving I don't need them. Yeah, it's that energy behind it. Versus, am I tapping into the energy of what would I need to be and do and say here that would actually create? And I don't have any point of view about what it will create as long as it creates. So that's a great little sidebar, different conversation. Am I doing this from the energy of proving or am I doing this from the energy of creation?
So Steve, when you were talking about choosing one or chosen one, it's really interesting. When I look at my life and the investments that I've made, a lot of times I was waiting for those investments thinking like someone had to give me the green light, that I had to be the chosen one for them. And one of the things that's really changed in my life the last few years is looking at ways that I can add richness to my life in a lot of different ways. One of them is through jewelry, and another is through gold, purchasing gold. And it was funny because it was about me looking at my life of today and what I'd like to create in the future. So what are things that I would like my future to be like? And what it includes in terms of the diversity of my portfolio as well. And I realized that as much as I love jewelry, I didn't have to wait for my husband to buy me jewelry because it was a special occasion. Instead, I could invest in my own future and still enjoy the things that I was adding to my life. So over the last 3 years, I've added a lot of different kinds of jewelry and some that I would never on my own pick out at a jewelry store. But I walked by them and they were very intriguing. They invited me to come and try them on. And when I looked at it, not just from aesthetically, but looked at the investment that I could make with it for today and the future, it really created greater in my life. And it was, if I buy you, what will my life be like in 5 years? Will you make me money? You know, and other questions like that. And what I've realized is that every single piece that I've purchased were pieces that matched the questions of what I was asking, what I wanted the next year to be like for me, or the next 5 years. And it wasn't about having it defined, but it was like, I would like to expand my life. And those pieces matched the future of the life that I was actually asking for.
You choosing for possibilities. And that is the perfect example when people wonder, what does it mean choosing for possibilities? That's exactly what it is. What Lale was talking about is choosing for possibilities. You choose because it's expanding your world, expand your universe. And you were in the question when you bought things, so you know that whatever you bought, you are choosing from possibility, and you know that it's going to create greater possibility in your world. So for anyone who's wondering what choosing for possibility is, that's exactly what it is. Being willing to be in the question, if I choose this, what would my life be like in 5 years, in 10 years? The reason why we put 5 years and 10 years is you can't define it. You can't actually go into the definition of what your life would be like in 5 years. Often when you said, well, if I choose this, what would my life be like? You immediately go into definition of what you would expect your life to be like. But when you put the 5 years or 10 years or the future in, it's very hard to define it.
I think there's a lot in this talk that people might want to consider listening to over and over, because the nuances of what we're saying are actually very, very powerful. So some of the things that Lale was saying about, you know, I started off investing in gold. Did you realize that she said the word starting, and that you just choose to start somewhere? And not from the expectation that it's going to make a lot of money, but just because it was contributing to my life. Jewelry, the same thing. You go into it and you say, okay, so where do I start? Well, start. But I don't have much money. Well, have some of that thing. What would it take for you to create more? What would need to change for you to create more? So every choice that you make will create different possibilities, as long as you don't judge that choice as right or wrong.
And if you're choosing one, you make the choice to choose first, even if you don't have money. If you choose to create something, choose, and then you go into, so what would it take for this to come to fruition once you make a choice?
There's many investments we've gone into where we didn't have the money in the bank, but we chose to do it and we created the money, as opposed to waiting for the money in the bank and then figuring out what we're going to do with it. No, choose, create. Choose again, create. Oh, that's right, choose.
On that note,
that's probably a good way to wrap this up. Lale, thank you for a great conversation on this episode.
Thank you, you guys. It was awesome.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.